Etepu, assalamu alaikum, Haru Nefer, namaste. This is Kasagma Keperu with another exciting video for you. And again, let me adjust this microphone. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah. All right, we have an exciting program here. I want to talk about how obsession leads to possession. And we're going to get into how to master time and space. But before we do that, I need you to hit that like button. And if this is your first time watching, please subscribe to my channel. And also share this video with family and friends so we can get the revolution started, because we want to free the planet. Now let's talk about this. This is a occult magical secret, which basically gets into the idea of the more you focus on something, the more it expands and the more it becomes your reality. All right. You should know that there's so many things in our day-to-day routine that we simply cannot process. All right. So what the mind does is it filters out certain things that aren't significant enough, that aren't important enough. And that filtering process leaves only the most important things that you need. So what this does is actually creates your own reality that's apart from everybody else. So what you're seeing is not the same thing as what everybody else is seeing. All right. This is a necessary thing that the brain has adopted through the process. I hate to use the word evolution, but it is adapted to streamline the process so you're not overwhelmed with information and processing information that's not pertinent to your day-to-day experience. So I want you to keep that in mind. Now, when we go back to ancient times with the shaman and Shah women, what if you can call them Shah women? Let's just say priests and priestesses, okay? They would traditionally, all right, get into a circle. They would beat the drums and have incense, and this would take you into an alternate state of trance or consciousness, sorry, alternate state of consciousness, which is trance. And this would be the hypnotic state or hypnosis, because the term hypnosis was coined, I think, in the 40s. So that's a fairly recent term. But our ancient ancestors have been practicing this for centuries, okay? So we need to understand this. And part of this is they would practice the art of possession. Now, what does that mean? Possession is to possess a spirit of something, and everything has a spirit. And our Native American brothers and sisters can attest to this. So when you are, and it's not like that movie, The Exorcist, which you became possessed by a devil or demon or something like that. So it's not like that. But you know, you can become possessed with the spirit of the Holy Ghost. You can become possessed with the spirit of a master mathematician. You know, you can become possessed with a love for someone, you know, and this is a good thing. So we should not see it as something negative. Okay. So we should look at this. The possession is very, very similar in a way to the obsession. And this is a necessary requirement for your magic to master time and space. All right. But before I go into that, I want to talk a little bit about a book series that I got and I'm checking out. This is the Kuji-Kiri book series. Okay. And this is the Japanese art of mudras or black magic. Okay. And it's written by this gentleman, Moha Vadre. And I'm not, you know, I can't really recommend it. I'm just checking out and seeing, you know, if he's on point with this stuff, and he's doing the hand signs in there and everything. I learned this years ago when I went to study with my teacher, who learned from the Grand Master Hatsumi Sensei in Japan, the techniques of Kuji-Kiri. And this is, again, the interweaving, I spoke about this before, of the hands. And what it does is each hand pattern controls a different aspect of time and space. And it allows you to bring forth a new reality. And this is what the ancient Buddhists were practicing. So this is no different than what we're doing now, okay? Now let's go back to what I was saying. And I'll give classes in the very near future for those on my Patreon campaign of Kuji-Kiri or Kuji-In, because it's not just the hand techniques, it's also drawing in space. So you create the hand technique, and then you'll draw, and they're usually Japanese characters. Like you'll have one Japanese character, like Ren. Ren is one Japanese character, REN. All right, and each one is aligned with a specific meridian point. So, what I was saying before is to possession is a good thing, or let's say obsession. Sorry, obsession is a good thing. We tend to look at it very, very negatively in the Western civilization. That's because it's not used correctly. You see, you are a reality generating machine. You know, at any time, you can shift to an alternate dimension. You can change the very fabric of space and time, but we're not taught this. You know, we're taught that the only thing that is real is what you can see, feel, hear, and taste. Okay, you feel me? You know, it's interesting. I just had a conversation on Facebook with a very good friend of mine, and he made some good decisions. He invested his money wisely, and now he's got a good return on that. So he's decided to travel the world. And, you know, he was saying that he wished he had made these investments when he was younger, and he could have spent that money and enjoyed it more when he was younger. But let me tell you something. The one thing that you have to get in perspective is the concept of money, because money does have its limitations. Now, there's nothing wrong with it, but I want you to understand that what can be of greater aid to you is resources. And those come in the aspects of physical resources or human resources, because if you know people, case in point, there's one gentleman who's a spiritual teacher who I know, who has written a book on these principles and was given this mansion to live in. All right, and he didn't have to purchase it, do anything. He was just given it to live in. So these things will happen to you if you understand that money is not the end all and be all to your existence. And money does not have, it's not backed up by anything, because we used to go by the gold standard, okay? It's fiat currency. So they can manipulate the market. Next day we have a depression worse than the ones we had, I think it was back in 1920s, or was it the early 1920s, yeah. So keep that in mind, because when you have magic, and when you have the ability to manipulate time and space, then you can have almost anything you want, given time. I have to say that because some people expect things to happen overnight, and unless you're a master magician, it's not going to happen overnight. So understand that there are limitations to money. All right. And the thing that you should be going for is how can you invoke your power? How can you come into your identity as God man and God woman? Right. So and money, basically, the green dollar is a sigil, is a talisman in a way, you know, and that's been because the founding fathers were occult masters. You have to understand that. Now, but getting back to the point, because I don't want to make this video too long, is that the best way that you can work your magic, and I like to teach people these things without getting into the real details of rituals, occults, names of spirits, names of how you write different sigils, how the incantations work. I try to dumb things down to really make it simple so the layman can use it. You know, because that's the way I want it. I have a very busy schedule. I don't have time to read the Book of the Dead and go and decipher the Metu Neta and try to get into all the incantations and the spells. So I want to do something that's very effective yet simple, and this is what I'm teaching you. So one of the things that you can do that's very effective in invoking your magic and invoking a power that's almost beyond belief, that can work miracles in your life, is to become obsessed with something. So case in point, let's say, for example, if you want a particular car, right? And that car costs about, let's say, $250,000, well out of your reach. Well, if you put pictures of the car up in your home office, if you put pictures in the bathroom, so when you're brushing your teeth, you can see the car. If before you go to sleep, you have a tape with the engine that you can hear, and you listen to that revving of the engine every night before you go to sleep. And when you go to work, you have pictures of the car at your desk. That anybody would legitimately say, you know, you're really obsessed by that car. You know what I mean? And that's a good thing, because that's being Mike. That's correct. Laser focus. Mike has it right. Laser focus. Right. And that's the aspect of Aru, the hawk, because when he goes down and dives down to get his prey, he's not looking at anything on the peripheral. He's just focused in on his prey. So when you are at that stage to where everything is about your objective and you can't see anything outside of that, that is the obsession aspect. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, okay? But you have to couple that with a couple of other things to make your magic work. And the other aspect to it is it must encompass a very positive feeling when you think about it. Because when you think about sitting in the car, smelling a new car smell, revving it up, having a sexy female with you in the car. Anyway, so these things should excite you. And the key word I said is sexual. All right, so because your Kundalini energy, your Ra, your chi force, is a sexual force, which is why when you see the deities in Kemet, the statues, like Amen and all those, they had erect penises, you know? And the Washington Monument is nothing but an erect penis. It's the penis of Osiris. So that erect penis is telling you that, that the energy that you're using to feel good about something, your objective, is really a sexual energy. It's coming from your loins, you know, it's because you're invoking that sexual feeling, you know. So, and much like sex or intercourse, magic is the same way, where you're implanting the seed, and the seed is germinating and it comes to fruition in the form of the baby, and the baby needs to be nurtured. Okay, so that's the whole thing about how you work in your magic. You are planting the seed, which is the idea of what you want, and you continually nurturing it by having the good feeling that as if you have, if you already have it, if you possess it in the now moment. You have to live your life not being outcome dependent. What do I mean by that? You have to feel good as if you have the thing, but don't make your life dependent upon acquiring the thing. You almost have to trick the mind in believing that it has it already. And when you can do that, you know, Heteru, Hathor, my aunt, the goddess Heteru, says, joy is in the journey and not the destination. So if you're living and you are joyful every day as if you have the thing, that enacts the magic. That's how the magic works. Yeah, that's why we say magic is alchemy. It's a mixture of different elements. It's the visual image of what you want, the feeling that every time you think about it, it invokes positive feelings or connotations. Now, here's the other aspect, which is you have to go deep, deep, deep into trance, okay, or hypnosis, all right? Now, the way you do this is you're going to do some meditation. So you're going to meditate and go deep into meditation. So, sorry, let me get my book out here. I was actually going through this, and I marked this, but whatever. I wanted to get to. Okay, so there are many different states, right? When you're there's the awake state, there's a sleep state, REM, then there is the lights, trance state. But the state that you want to eventually get to is a theta state, which is around 4 to 7 hertz. And that is the deep trance state where you can actually manipulate reality. So, but that's very tricky to get into. And then let me explain. The first state you're going to get into that you find yourself when you meditate is going to be the alpha state. And the alpha state is between 8 to 13 hertz. So that's okay, because you can still work your magic there. Now, what you want to do is when you're meditating and you feel yourself drifting off into that state, you want to visualize yourself as you acquired the thing of your desire, whether it be the car, the sexy female, the sexy male like me, or the house, you know, or cash money, baby. Whatever it is, you visualize it as if you already have it and what your life would be like having it, you know? So, you know me, I have crazy dreams. I would like envision myself having a harem of women from every nationality, Asian, Colombian, Italian, you know, whatever, okay? Yes, I have issues, okay? But anyway, I fantasize about repopulating the earth, you know, me and just a bunch of women on the planet, and no other male, and oh, that's heaven. But anyway, okay, I digress. So you want to picture what your life would be like, all right? Now, if you go successfully into the theta state, here's what happened. It won't last long. When you come out of that state, you'll have that feeling, that good feeling, and it will feel real to you, like you've almost had that thing. But then it will slowly taper off, it'll wear off, and you come back to reality, okay? And then you'll be a little bit depressed. Oh man, but that's okay. So you want to wash, rinse, and repeat. You want to do this thing over again and meditate again and get deeper into that theta state and visualize yourself again going through the process of acquiring it. Maybe if you have the car, you can visualize yourself driving the car around, okay? And having people see you and having your haters be jealous of you, you know what I'm saying? Like I would literally, if I was one in a car, it would have to be either the Batmobile or Kit from Knight Rider, you know? I actually rode in that car. Kit from Knight Rider, I did ride in that car. It was a very interesting experience, but I digress, okay? But anyway, so yeah, that's what you want to do, because it has to be something that is legitimately real, what you would really do. So if you're envisioning like, well, I've got $250,000, what would you buy with that money? Okay, so that's what your visualization has to be about. And while I'm talking about this, make sure you guys hit the like button and donate to the channel if you get an opportunity, or if you're in a position to donate. I would appreciate it. The link to the PayPal is in the chat box. So, all right. So when you're continually doing that, right, what's going to happen? It will get to a point where Sebek, or Anubis, which is your belief system. Sebek is all about beliefs, okay? He's about changing beliefs and correct beliefs. So what's going to happen is the subconscious mind. Well, let me go back. Let me take a step back, so I'm jumping ahead of myself. The trick to getting into the theta state, which is a deep state of trance, is to use a mantra that's like a one-word mantra, or was the one-syllable mantra that you can repeat over and over again. And I use a very powerful mantra called Brazing. So I will be reciting Brazing, 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 Brazing. And what that does is it puts the left brain to sleep, the critical faculty. And then it activates the right brain. So when the left brain is asleep, which is perfect, you don't question anything. Everything is accepted. This is why in your dreams, the left brain is asleep. You could be talking to a giraffe, and in your dreams, you don't question that. You know, it's kind of weird. I'm talking to a giraffe, and he's communicating in English. It's weird, but you don't question that. So anyway, so you're reciting that over and over, and it's the repetition of that puts the left brain to sleep and activates the right brain. Let me greet everybody, all the Magi's. So Hetepu Susan, Hetepu Mike, Namaste Mr. T, Namaste Daryl, Namaste Takia, and who else have we got in here? Okay, Hetepu D. There we go. All right, cool. Gang's all here. All right. So once you're reciting that mantra should be related to your objective. And you can research mantras online. They come from the Sanskrit Vedic tradition. And there's thousands of mantras. Okay, so pick the one that works best for you. I would do an oracle reading to see if it's a good mantra, because some mantras aren't good mantras. Okay, so when you go into the trance and you come out of trance, now there's going to be like a cognitive dissonance. All right, so this is what's going to happen. You're going to have a conflict, which is the ancient Chinese oracle, the I-Ching, is the 6 hexagram. 6 hexagram says conflict. Here's the conflict, okay? So, oh, yes, sir, Mr. Darrell. Please address him as Mr. Darrell. Yes, sir, Mr. Darrell. Okay. Well, you got to change your screen name if you want to be Mr. Darrell, okay? What you got to do is, what's the conflict is going to come from is that your belief system will slowly change to where you believe you already have the car. But the physical environment is going to contradict that, because you won't have the car. So the two will collide. But that's okay. That's great. Because what's more powerful, the left or the right brain? Well, what controls the emotions? What controls your actions? The right brain. Okay, the right brain. So if your right brain subconscious mind has a belief system and it looks for validation or reference experience in the physical world and it doesn't see it, what does the right brain do? the right brain manifests it. It says, okay, well, this has, because the right brain is devoid of time and space. It's not subject to time and space. It's non-linear. So it's going to create in the now moment your car. It's going to say, well, my belief system tells me that there's a car. We have a car, though I can't see it. So we're going to manifest that car because rightly so, there should be a car here. And I'm really dumbing this down, but I'm giving you the esoteric wisdom of how this works. So that's going to be perfect, because what's going to happen is deep down to the core, you're going to believe you have that car. And you're going to be thinking, and your reference experience and your memories and everything is to tell you you have a car. But when you look at the physical world, you're going to see that you don't have the car. So your right brain is going to work on your behalf to manifest the car. That's perfect. That's what you want to do. And if you give it time, then it will come to fruition. You will shift to a vibrational frequency, to an alternate parallel world where you can interact with the car, or become the person who has the car. Make sense? That's how it works. Beautiful. This is why I say that money is great. I'm not going to put down money. You should all be working to getting more money. But magic is a secret weapon, because with that, then you can have anything. So don't think just because you got that car, because that car will come to you, and I'm going to explain how, that you can't have other things. So once you get the car, then you move on to something else. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, that's how it works. Like, for example, if I'm focusing on getting Megan Fox, and I got Megan Fox, and she's fine, then I'm going to be focused on the next thing, and I'm going to say, I want Tara Banks now. You know, so it's perfectly okay to keep your have more objectives to achieve, because what is the principle that we have to say about Ma'at in the universe? It's abundance. There's never a shortage. It's abundance. You got it? There's enough for everybody. So work on one objective, and you can write these down and then move on to the next and move on to the next. And the great thing about this is when you witness the first manifestation of the miracle, or your ability to control time and space, you will get freaked out, and you'll be just like, oh my God. Can I be real with you guys? Can I be real? Okay, I'm a rapper. My name is Shorty G. No, just kidding. But there was one time I was working on an objective. It took me almost 2 years. And I was cursing out the ancestors. I was cursing out the gods, because I said, I did everything right, and I still don't have this thing. The very next month, it came to me, and I had egg on my face. I was so embarrassed. I'm not kidding. I went back to the ancestors. I went back, and I apologized, man. I was humbled. I was humbled as a magician, and I should have known better. I should have known better, okay? It was a kick up my butt. You know, and yeah, I had to do some major apologizing, man. So you want to respect the ancestors and respect the gods. Give them time, all right? Don't want things overnight, because it doesn't always work like this. But the bigger the goal, the more time it may take to manifest, because you're dealing with 3 dimensions of space and 1 dimension of time. They're inseparable. So it's not like you're in the 5th dimension or the 8th dimension where you think of something instantaneously, it appears, okay? Well, I can't say what the 8th dimension, but we'll get into that a little later. So that's, we don't live in the 5th dimension where it miraculously appears. It takes time to manifest. Although anything that manifests in the subconscious mind, which we really is the spirit, you already have. Because the principle of who you are is consciousness. So when you think of something, you automatically have it, but the physical realm has to take time to catch up to that. All right? You guys do know when you talk on a cell phone, there's a delay. You do know that when they play concerts on TV, those concerts which they claim are live, there's like a 5-second delay in case something happens, like someone curses or things of that nature. Yeah. Okay? So yeah, I'm not going to get into the 8th dimension now. I'll make another video on that. It's just a little complex there. So yeah, so give it time, and don't stop working on it. Don't stop working on it, okay? Because you have to, as I said before, you're nurturing that seed, you know, and that seed, if it doesn't get nurtured like baby Haru Aset, when she's nursing Haru, it'll never grow into the kingship. It'll never come to manifestation for you. You know, I've had people that call me up and says, well, you know, I tried the mantra, it didn't work. I said, well, how long did you try for? Oh, 1 day. I'm like, seriously, 1 day? You got to at least do that for six weeks, you know? Now, here's the thing that you have to keep in mind. This will help you and build upon your faith. When you are working on the meditation and the mantra, you don't have to have a mantra. That's not a requirement. But when you're working on the meditation, what's going to kick in to let you know it's working is synchronization. So all of a sudden, you may start seeing that car that you want everywhere. In magazines, walking across the street, you may see people driving it, and you're going to be like, this is really weird, you know? You may see more TV programs about it, and things like that. Now, very important that when you start to see that, understand that it's coming to you. It's coming to you, all right? Don't get disheartened. Don't get depressed. That's a good sign. Don't look at it as if the universe is teasing you, all right? That means keep working on it. It may take additional month or 2 months, but keep working on it. Like, for example, if you want to get into a relationship, right? And you meditate on it, you work on it, and then suddenly everywhere you turn, you see people in a healthy, harmonious relationship, kissing in the park, kissing in the street, kissing at work next to your desk, and it makes you sick because it makes you just feel like, oh, I'm lonely. That's okay. That's a sign that it's coming to you, all right? And then you may be walking and suddenly on the floor you see rose petals. What's that about? Well, that's Heather sending you a message, you know? So that's how you have to keep a keen eye and look for those synchronicities. You know, and sometimes the synchronicity may come in the form of what you think is bad luck, you know, but it's not, all right? You know, like let's say, for example, this, right? Check it out. Peep this, family. Let's say you want $200,000 and you've been saving, so you have $50,000. Like you got 50 G's, right? And you're doing your meditation, doing everything right, and then you know, one day let's say you go to your mattress and someone broke into your apartment and stole you $50,000. Wow, that may be like, how did they know my 50 was in the mattress? How did they know that? Right? Okay, so that may seem like horrible luck, but then when you report the crime, they arrest the criminal and they say, okay, we have retrieved your money. Here is your $200,000. And your mind will be, oh, I have $50,000. What? Yeah, that's my $200,000. So that's how it works. You may think something appeared to be bad luck, but it actually turns out in the end in your favor, okay? And you need to understand in the spiritual realm, there's no right or wrong, and there's no good or bad luck in the spiritual realm. Because when there is oneness, you can oppose yourself. Where there is oneness, then there is no opportunity to do wrong, okay? Because you can't transgress against yourself. How would you do that? You know what I mean, beloved? You just can't do that, all right? So that is the key. And the thing that I see that kills most people, to be honest with you, is they just don't give it time. The magic works, but you've got to put in the effort. This is why when you're working on objective, make sure it's something you truly, truly want. Because if it's not, you're going to give up on it. Just like when I used to tell people, I used to be I am a filmmaker. And I would say, you know, if you're going to write a film, make sure that you really are close and tied to the subject matter, because a film takes about 2 years to bring to the silver screen. And if you are not close to the subject matter, if you don't have a passion for telling that story, you're not going to last those 2 years, okay? And I've done experiments too, by the way. This is going off the track. But where I've worked with filmmakers who've had to raise money from investors, and I've always told them, just set a number. Just set a number. How much you need to finance this film? You need $100,000? Good. Just say, I need $100,000, and put that out there in the ether. And the universe will help you to get to that point. It'll help you. because you'll start to dream about it. You'll start to want it with a burning desire, and the forces will align to get you that money or to bring to you the resources that you need, which will be equivalent to that $100,000. Does that make sense? So keep that in mind, you know. It's not very hard technique. It's not very difficult. In fact, some people naturally can do this because they know how to feel the emotions of having something, you know. And once you do it once, you become better at it and you're able to reproduce it over and over again, you know. Just be careful, again, to make sure that what you want is just, it doesn't harm anybody, and that you really, really want it, and that you don't have outcome dependence. That means that if you don't get it, you're okay with that. You just still live your life in a very joyful mood. And, you know, I came to a point where when I was the 2 years and I was working on that objective, I got to a point where, you know what, if I don't get it, whatever, you know. And then when that happened, then I started to see the synchronistic events align up, and I knew it was coming. Another way you can tell if it's coming, if you do an oracle reading and you ask the oracle, is my objective, whatever it may be, is that coming to me? Or if you can ask it, is my magic working? And it will tell you, you know. And one of the first things you should do, which I didn't mention, is kind of really important, you know what I mean, is to have a sexy co-host. Is to do an oracle reading first before you work on that objective, and ask the oracle, is it within my destiny to achieve this objective? Because it may not be in your destiny to achieve that objective, you know? I mean, I could probably try all I want, but it's not my destiny to be president of the United States. I can try to do every magic technique or spell or incantation that there is. I'm not going to be president of the United States, because your destiny is part of your soul contract or your pre-life agreement. It's already been laid out for you, and you've agreed to that. So you're not going to violate that. And it's important that you follow and live according to that destiny, because Nectar is depending, or Nectar is God, or Nebecher, God. God is depending upon you because God needs you to have this experience in a particular way. All right. So just keep that in mind. It's very important that you fulfill that objective. And a lot of things will be in your destiny to have. A lot of things will, you know. So more than likely, you will be able to get it if you're practicing your magic correctly and you have very, very happy, positive thoughts about achieving it, you know. So I think that's all I want to talk about right now. If you Magi's out there get an opportunity, please subscribe to my Patreon campaign. I'm making some more exciting videos that getting into the details of magic and alchemy and how to put things together, how to charge magical instruments. Because I want to keep this channel like very simple for the layman and the people out there, the general public. But the Patreon videos are going to get more detail into making like potions and powders and things like that, which will supercharge the magic and make it happen. And will also, one thing I truly believe in is how to deal with your enemies. You know, of course, there's no such thing as an enemy, but there are people out there who wish you harm. And sometimes you can't take them to the judicial system because the judicial system is corrupt. Okay? So you have to rely on magic to deal with them, you know? And I'm all for the idea, if someone has done wrong, you have it within your right to invoke a demon and send that demon out on a mission to get them, okay? And this is why that we are in the situation we are in now, because we don't know how to appeal to higher occult forces for help. This is what these spirits, these entities are out there. This is what they're are for. And if you read the works of Aleister Crowley or Madame Bagista, I forgot her name. What's Madame Blavatsky? Sorry, Martin Blavatsky. I always have problems pronouncing her name. They were two occult masters, and when you read their works, one thing they tell you is that You are master of these beings, of these spirits. You are the master. You command them to do things. And if you don't understand that and you invoke a demon, the demon will attack you. So you gotta come on point and understand that you're God man and God woman. So if someone has done you wrong and you have no other recourse, then get down to working on your magic and invoke a spirit, a Legba or Harukahuti or Zeus, whoever, to deal with them, you know, and you'll see it happen, you know. And the other thing is you can just shift to a alternate world where they don't exist anymore, so you don't have to deal with them anymore. Okay, if you're that powerful. So anyway, my beloved, so that's this video for now. And don't forget, we have the ebooks. You guys can download the ebooks for free. And until my next video, this is Kasak Ma Keparu, son of Tahuti and Ma'at. Amun Ra.